My next guest has got a really big fight coming up here at UFC London, taking on Makwan Amirkhani. It's JSP, Jonathan Pearce, back here on the program. Jonathan, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
I am doing awesome, but I'm not going to London in a few weeks, man. Were you excited by this? I was checking your record. I don't think you fought overseas before, right?
No, this is my first international fight, and I'm excited to go out there and showcase all my skills and just do what I do best. I've been kind of quiet these last 3 wins, and that's the way I like to roll. And, I can't wait to go out here and be an international harvester.
Yeah, the international harvester. I like that. You should put that on a t-shirt. It looked like you got a full camp for this one. When did you find out about the fight?
About 8 weeks out.
Nice.
Had a good camp. I think I have some of the best people in my camp right now. Like Kamwela had fought him, and I've been getting a lot of work in with him. And then Santino, Bobby. So we've been really working all the defenses for this fight so I can just run my offense.
Nice. That's great. And I imagine you knew about Amirkhani before taking this fight, because he's been in the UFC for a while, submission specialist. He's, trained with Conor McGregor before. Were you pretty familiar with him when you took the fight?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen maybe the guys like 1 or 2 times, and then I have to go look at their film and stuff like that to really figure out who they are. And, but yeah, I'm really confident going into this fight, and, I don't see me not coming out on top in this one.
Style wise, obviously he's known for his submissions. Actually, he's got some, some knockout wins too. Just from a style perspective, how are you looking at this fight?
I think he's like well-rounded in all areas. I feel like we'll probably cancel out each other's wrestling, and then it'll probably just be a scrap from there. I don't really know where it's going to go, if it's going to stay on the ground or be on the feet, but I definitely want to like showcase more of my striking coming off my last fight. Last fight, I didn't really get to hydrate properly after the fight, and I feel like it really showed in the fight. But I also feel like I showed veteran skills to stay in a choke for like over a minute and then still be able to go on to finish the fight or to win the fight. So
yeah. It's interesting. What happened with the weight cut? So you mentioned there's an issue with the hydration. What happened?
I think like the weight cut was real easy. Like I only had to cut like 6 or 8 pounds, and I did it real fast. But then when I went to rehydrate, like you're dehydrated so much that I feel like you think you drank enough water, but you can always drink more. And I think that was probably the biggest thing. And like as soon as I got out of the cage, like I was like throwing up. And it was like my breakfast from that morning. So like really I was going in there like empty tank, and
oh, crazy.
So I feel like that I still haven't got to show my best performance yet.
Well, with the fact you're doing so much traveling, how does that alter the weight cut this time around? Because you're going to be on the plane, and you retain water. Have you sort of navigated through that ahead of the fight?
I think that's a part of the process. Like it's a learning process. I've never flown internationally and had to compete, but I don't think I'll be like, I think I'll have a hard time sleeping because I'll be so excited to get out there and showcase my skills and stuff. So I'm not too worried about the sleep, just more of like, what is it going to be once I get down there? It's hard to visualize like a whole different country, a whole different arena and stuff like that. So but that's what's so exciting about it, is that I'm going to get to go out there and see all that for the first time. And it's going to kind of like blow me back too and be a whole experience for me. So I'm just going to like enjoy the ride, really.
You talked a bit about training partners. When you said Bobby, I'm assuming Bobby Moffitt. Who else are you getting to work with over there at Fight Ready?
Kamwela Kirk, Bobby Moffitt. And there's a bunch of young and upcomers in our gym that haven't even reached the UFC level yet. And Santino, he's really good at jiu-jitsu. So, but really, I just mainly trying to be getting it in with Kamwela because he actually fought him on 5 days notice. So if anybody has a good read on him, I think he would have.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. And you mentioned the up-and-comers. Who are some names that are working at Fight Ready that you want to mention? Because these are names we're probably going to see in, LFA or the Contender Series here pretty soon. Who are some of the younger guys you get to work with?
So Ray Waters, Cliff, let's see. there's a bunch of them. Like every single guy in there's a hitter. We had Hunter that was on Contender Series and fought in the UFC, and he's making his climb back. Ramon. I mean, the list goes on. Like,
Yeah. But a good variety, which is nice, right? Because it's sometimes it's good to have those young up and comers because they're going to give you that not only a different push but a good push too because they're still trying to prove themselves.
Yeah, yeah, and it reminds you of when you first started, you know, and how hungry you were. And like I remember my amateur fights, I go out there and just put on a performance, you know. And now you got to think a little bit more longevity in your career because these guys aren't just going to lay down for you. So,
yeah, no, totally get that. Who's going to be making the trip with you? I imagine Santino DeFranco will be going. Will Eddie Cha be going? Who's going to be making the trip down there with you?
Eddie Cha as well, and Bobby Moffitt.
Nice, the Wolfman. Always good to have him in your corner. How's this fight playing out on July 23rd? How do you envision it going down?
I see me finishing them in the second round, about halfway through. My average fight time's about 8-9 minutes. So I'm trying to beat that if I can. If not, we'll just run it like that, you know. But I see him being a fast starter. He's got a good first round, but I think he fades really fast where I pick up momentum as the fight goes on. So I think this guy plays right into my game. Like, I'm not too worried about a wrestler taking me down because that's my background. So good luck with that.
You know, after this fight, you want to get maybe 1-2 more fights in. Would that be sort of ideal? I know, again, you're going to be traveling for this one, so that takes up some time. But what's sort of the outlook after this fight, not looking past your opponent?
They're asking me if I want the top 15. I'm supposed to go on a new contract, so let's see what that contract says before we go and say what we want.
Right. Okay.
But I feel like I can beat anybody in the top 10 right now. But why would I go super fast up to the top and then have a issue like Francis Ngannou is with pay and stuff like that? I think that's all on you. Like, you got to take care of that before you get to the belt. It's not just the belt. So if I could fight some of those gatekeepers that have been around a long time, like someone like another Lozon, but at 45, you know, and for me to get the experience. And then if I do, like, if I don't come out on top, well, everybody knows who that guy is. You know what I mean? So I want to
like maybe like, no disrespect by saying this, maybe like a Darren Elkin, someone like that. That's just someone that came to mind.
Yeah, or like a Cub Watson or something like that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And just to clarify, you mentioned it there. So is this a new contract, the first fight on the new contract, or you're going to negotiate after this fight? What do you mean by that?
When I beat him, I'll get a new contract, and we'll see how the pay is, and then we'll go from there. But for the most part, like, I'm not afraid to end these guys in this division. I just want to be able to make a living too doing it. And like with the Lozon fight, I fought that and made like $10,000 and tore my shoulder out and didn't really have a way to make it. And I had to move back home and like really conserve and stuff. And it really hurt me in my longevity of my career because now I had to deal with that shoulder surgery and it's not going to go anywhere. So going into those fights, you got to be prepared. Like, hey, if I don't get the payout, I'm expecting, you know, what am I going to do? So I have to look at it as a business as well as not just a performer. But absolutely, as the performer side of me is like, bring it on, give me whoever you got. But my pocket says something a little different.
So is this the second? Because I know sometimes you'll renegotiate on the very last fight. Is this the very last fight on your contract? Do you have one more after this one, like on your old contract?
No, I could fight 2 more probably on this contract, but
oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because I know you always renegotiate before the last one usually, so that would make sense. Because yeah, I was gonna say this is a big fight. So how does that feel though? Because like, you know, you're fighting Amirkhani, pretty notable name in the division. You know, you feel like you're gonna finish him. What's that like knowing that like you could go in there and significantly increase your pay if you get like a good finish here? Do you like that? Do you like the stakes being this high?
Yes, I do. I mean, I didn't move out west from away from my family and everything just to come out here and like this is serious business to me. Like I've been gone from my home since 2018 and like I might go back a week or 2 after each fight. So like this is going to allow me to establish myself and be able to, hey, I could buy a house or I could, you know, move back home and come out for camps or whatever. But why I'm out and I'm invested, I'm all in. So whatever is best, you know.
Before we go, at the top of your division, we just had Alex Volkanovski defeat Max Holloway. I'm assuming you saw the fight. If you did, what did you make of his performance? A pretty dominant win.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty dominant win. I heard he broke his hand like in the second round,
He
and I
did,
think
yeah.
that's why he was talking a lot in the fight and trying to talk trash. But then once he cut him, I think the fight completely changed. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see a little bit more of these young up and comers fight Volkanovski. I don't think he's been getting tested in his last two fights. He's just coming out and sticking that jab and being like, "I'm faster than you," and getting in their head, it being a world title fight and him being there a lot more than the other guy has. And you really got to go out there and finish the champ. So, like, I don't think we're even getting a good read on how good he is. And yeah, he's getting faster and stuff, but like, last time he really had a banger was on 266 with someone who actually wrestled with him. So I think that's very interesting. I'm very tall for the weight class. I like the matchup. Like, I didn't get in this just to be like a Hall of Fame guy. I got in this to like really go home with a belt and establish my family name in the UFC.
Well, I'll just play devil's advocate here for a second. You don't think him beating Holloway was a big deal? Because Holloway, I think, is right at the top of that division. We saw what he did to Calvin Kattar a few fights ago. He just beat Yair Rodriguez. You don't see that as a good win for him, or you feel like there's some other guys, maybe like a Yair Rodriguez, who I just mentioned, that could give him some different problems.
No disrespect to anybody in the UFC or anything, but this is a tough sport. Like, you can have all them hard fights and bangers, but like when you come out, you're not the same guy anymore. And like you get up in age, and like if you look at Max Holloway, he's known for taking damage. Well, that's probably not what you want to be known for. And I always have looked at those guys as Hall of Fame guys, like wanted to be where they were at. But I just feel like a little bit of the fighting spirit has maybe left them to get to that climb to the top. And like I'm one of those contestants too. Like I feel it too. But at the end of the day, I feel like those young guys coming up, like Bryce Mitchell, like would give them a good fight. Calvin Kattar, all those guys. I just feel like the younger guys haven't got to touch glory yet, haven't got to be the varsity guy yet, and they've been, like you said, they're hungry. They got to prove themselves, and I feel like that's the matchups we need to see. We need to get that division shaken up a little bit. I'm not ready for him to run up to 55 and act like he's the best. I feel like he needs to fight some more people down here. I just think when you fight those older guys, they're not in it as much as the younger guys. If the younger guys can get their mind right and be able to perform on that world-class level.
Yeah, great call on Bryce Mitchell, by the way. Forgot about him, but you're exactly right. That fits that mold. Young up-and-comers getting some good wins. He's a guy that could certainly shake things up. And I know he's not young, but Josh Emmett, I'd like to see that matchup just because of the wrestling and the power with Emmett, right? That could be interesting for Volk. But we're looking forward to your fight, man. UFC London, July 23rd. JSP, if there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
I'd like to thank everybody at Iridium that's helped me get to where I'm at. I'd like to thank Diamond Cup. They're one of my big sponsors. And I'd like to really thank my friends and family because without their support, I wouldn't be here. And, this is a big one. This is for all the time away from home. And I can't wait to go out there and show everybody what I've been doing.